Dave, by my goatee, at the speed of Taco, you shall be avenged.
Okay.
Laughter dances with truth in Mostly Fictional Tales, where reality and fantasy engage in a tango. Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome back to Mostly Fictional Tales. We are thrilled to have David Amitin grace our recording software once again. Today we're going to hear about the rumors of a train ride through Romania, where David had gotten himself into a bit of a pickle and had to dodge a corrupt Eastern Bloc police officer. But fear not, because our intrepid guest had received some timely assistance from an unexpected source. I don't want to steal David's thunder, so I'm not going to tell you about it right here, but I thought it was cool, so... Dave, I remember hearing tales of what you were up to as you were backpacking for 8 months around Europe, and you backpacked with somebody else up there. Is that right?
You know, you would meet people along the way.
And I thought one of our circle of friends was also backpacking, and you were
no. But I mean, you'd go to youth hostels and you'd stay with 10 people, and you'd wind up traveling with them for a while. But no, I didn't know anybody. I was by myself the whole time.
You'd say, "What are you all thinking about doing?" "Oh, we're going to go to see the Champs-Élysées today." I think that's great. I'm going to go with you.
I was never going to go to Israel until people kept telling me, "You've got to go to Israel. It's amazing." Yeah. And so I went to Israel, and it was amazing. It was amazing because every inch of that, it's a small little country, but every inch of it, something either biblical or historical has happened, and you just can't. It's incredible. That was probably the second most dangerous place I was ever at, because in Israel, I mean, they're very, very religious, whether you're Jewish or Muslim. So you're not going to get not a whole lot of thievery, but they might blow you up because of their religious, the convictions. So the second most dangerous place I was Israel, because they could, blow you up even though they wouldn't steal from you. And I was running around where there were landmines and things, and you just never knew. But you got to live life, right? So I did that. But the
David living life as he traipses through the landmine fields.
So let me tell you the story. So I want to tell you the story about my train trip through Bulgaria and Romania. I was in Romania, and I wanted to travel to Sofia, Bulgaria. I went to the Dracula's castle. I climbed around the mountain to get up to the castle.
Count
and instead of
Dracula's castle.
yeah, Count Vlad the Impaler in Bran. And so there's a path that you can go up to the castle and walk around, but there's no ropes, there's no security guards. You do what you want. So instead of me going up the path, I ran around to the side of the building, and I pried open the side door of the castle to see if I could find any, coffins or whatever. And, there was nothing there. It was like when Geraldo Rivera found Al Capone's vault. There was nothing inside. But it was still cool. All right, so but that's a whole different thing. So I decided.
I watched Geraldo open that vault, and I'm very upset. I'm very upset that I didn't get wads of cash coming on out of a vault. With me today is David Amitin. He's also known as Ricardo the Magnificent, and he is an intrepid world explorer.
Yeah, I was in Count Dracula's castle.
Okay, so did security come and say, "Sir, sorry, you cannot take the cadavers"?
There's no security. That's the thing. Unlike like museums in the West, it's just open. You just go, and that's what I did. It was great. And that's again, don't do the safe thing. Live life to the fullest. If you haven't a chance for I don't buy a lot of stuff.
You know what? You may have been able to pick up vampirism when you were there. So, this isn't a missed opportunity if you had not done that.
I've always been into vampires, but I don't have a lot of stuff. I have a lot of experiences. I believe in having experiences more than stuff. And so that's what I try to do. So, but I want to tell you about this trip on the train. So Romania was once an Eastern Bloc country, part of the Soviet Union. And when I was there in 1995, they had broken away and they'd become an independent country, but not for very long. And so what I learned was that the police force used to be supremely powerful. They would make you disappear. back when, you know, the communists ruled the country. And when that changed, the people were so hateful of the police, they took away all the police's power. They got paid very little, and the police, you know, were just a joke. But except for tourists, because the tourists don't know that the police don't have any power. So the police tended to make their money by finding problems in somebody's passport and then extorting money out of them. So I'm on this train with my backpack. All my stuff is in my backpack, right? I'm backpacking through Europe. And
so you're on foot. You don't have a suitcase or a valise.
I've got my backpack. It's a big, huge backpack. Huge.
Okay.
And all my stuff's in it, all my money, everything. And I get stopped by a policeman on the train, and he's looking through my passport. He's going to find something that's wrong. And then just before he starts to try to get me to give him money, something happens and he has to go check on it. So then I scurry away because I know what's coming. So the next like 3 or 4 hours, this dude is chasing me as we're rocketing down the Romanian, you know, coast in this train overnight. Through the train, I'm hiding in bathrooms, I'm hiding in compartments, I'm moving in, I'm moving out. He's chasing me around because he wants to get his money. And then
and every now and again he's getting distracted and then having to come back to the hunt.
It's like a movie scene. It's like a movie chase. It really is. I was in
a movie. Oh my gosh!
I was in an action movie. So I go around, and then finally I see this one compartment where these 2 double doors are, and so I open one up. I slide in. I close the door, and I turn around, and there's this big old man sitting there. And he's like, "What are you?" He's Romanian. He's like, "What are you doing?" You know. And I tell him what I'm doing. I tell him I'm running for this police officer who's trying to extort me for money, or maybe he's going to try to arrest me now. I don't know. And he says, "Okay, don't worry. You sit down right here." And he tells me about how the whole history with the police and how they don't have any power anymore, but they try to, you know, fleece tourists.
And he
tells
me,
let me finish.
Yeah.
So he tells me the real power source in Romania at this point is the mafia. The mafia now have all the power. And he tells me that he is a big shot in the mafia. And he says, "Look, you just sit here and I'll take care of you. Don't worry." So I do. I sat there, and sooner, about 15 minutes later, the policeman shows up. He opens the door. He looks in. And then this mafia dude starts shouting at him. Blah, 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 and the policeman runs away. And so I was saved from the Romanian police by a member of the Romanian mafia. But what's interesting about traveling back then in the 90s and what it is today, the world is completely different. And it's all because of the cell phone. Because back then we didn't have internet, really. I mean, there was if you had a full computer, those old computers. But I had a guidebook. That's my thing. I had a big, huge guidebook. It would tell me where youth hostels were. It would give me some ideas about where I might want to stay. And that's it. And so you're kind of on your own a lot more. Like now, if you have a problem, you just call for help, but you couldn't do that back then. And like, for example, there was this girl that I met somewhere, maybe in Austria, and she actually wrote for one of the Let's Go books. And she had an experience when she was in Italy, and she was down in Sicily, and people told her that it's very unsafe for women traveling alone in Sicily because the men are very macho. And they will attack you. And so when you go and you stay at a hotel room, you need to get your own room and you need to get an extra lock on the door. So she told me she went and she got an extra lock on the door. She had the bellman go in. She put a lock on the door and she went to sleep. And then when she woke up in the middle of the night, the bellman was in bed with her. So these are so traveling as a woman was, not the same as traveling as a guy. But now with phones, I think it's a whole lot easier.
I think, like you, Dave, that's a kind of story in which I want to look out there and to all the women out there and say, "I'm sorry, I'm a dumb boy, and I likely am kind of guilty of bad behavior in a time or two. I'm sorry."
Yeah, we're all not perfect, we do our best. We all do our best.
I'm sorry. Do I have the appropriate look of shame on my face?
I think you got to do one of these here. You got to do there you go.
I'm sorry, I'm a dumb boy.
So if you want to talk about Ricardo, we can do that now. If you want to lead into that.
You were saying now you've got cell phone, you've got technology that lets you be able to wherever you are, translate something, go figure something out. But like you were backpacking with a guidebook and not being able to call for any help. Did you end up besides needing to dodge Romanian police? Was there anything else that was like a problem that would have been solved had you had a cell phone while you were out?
All the time. I'm not, my directional sense is not good anyway. And so walking around a country, and I was walking all the time, I get lost constantly. So a lot of times you can do like the GPS, it'll tell you where to go and on your cell phones now. But of course, back then we didn't have that. And it wasn't too bad when I was in places like France and Italy and Germany and the
Eastern
Western
Europe
countries, because the alphabet's the same and you can sound it out. But when I was in Romania, when I was in Bulgaria, Israel, when it's a whole different alphabet, try to ask somebody what the street is when it's all these funny characters and you don't know what it says. That was difficult. That was really difficult. But I think probably today they've changed those signs and now they're in both languages. But back then it wasn't always the case.
I am absolutely floored by the translation technologies that are available for the text to speech. All of those things are amazingly good, and I love living in the future because of it. I'll tell you. Oh wow!
Yeah.
Did you go see the pyramids, which should be like
I did.
You've been to Egypt? Pyramids, yep. Yes.
Yeah, so the pyramids are interesting. So the pyramids are, you would think they're in the middle of nowhere, but they're not. The pyramids are right outside of Cairo. That means the Cairo, it's a 10-minute drive to get to the pyramids. And I rode on a camel. That was cool. And then the pyramids, you see the pyramids are these big shapes and you think that you're going to go up in the pyramid, but you don't. You go down. It's a very, very narrow passageway. I'm not even sure I could fit into it now.
Oh.
But you go down into the hole in the pyramid, and then there's nothing down there, and then you walk back up again. And there's enough room for two people to squeeze by, one group going down and one group going up. But you go down into the pyramids, and that was cool. But there wasn't much to see there. It was cool being on the outside of the pyramid more than being on the inside.
Okay.
But the more fun in Egypt was the tombs. Like King Tut's tomb and those tombs. I got to go into some of the tombs where they have the sarcophagus and all the jewels and all that stuff. That was really fun. And then the other thing that was funny was that in the Islam, you're not allowed to drink alcohol, but people want to drink alcohol. So
there's a reason for that.
A lot of times these guys, like the guys that you'd meet, the locals, they had two laws. They had a law for Islam and they had a law for tourists. Tourists could buy alcohol. Muslims could not. So they'd ask you, hey, could you go to the liquor store for me? Some alcohol. So there'd be that. And if you're a woman, they always wanted to get married. Like every woman I met too, they were proposed to several times a day by somebody local because they wanted to marry a Western woman. So, but yeah, Egypt was great. I loved Egypt. Israel was amazing. And Greece was impossibly beautiful, just amazingly beautiful. I did Halloween in Greece, and they don't do a lot of Halloween in Greece. So I went as a giant demonic Smurf. I got some like blue dye and I painted myself blue and I got like a Smurf hat on, and I went to the bar and we threw the dishes and stuff. It was great. It's so much fun. You got to go on adventures, please. If you're listening and you can, and you're young enough, go on an adventure, have some fun. Otherwise you won't regret it. You will regret not going on the adventure. Nobody ever sits on their deathbed and says, I wish I would have worked harder. I wish I would have spent more time doing overtime at my job. That's just not going to happen. You're going to wish you had more fun in life. So
I do have a small request.
Yeah.
A small request that what you just said, I would like to hear how Ricardo the Magnificent might say this.
So my friend Ricardo the Magnificent, he was born as a child in parts unknown, somewhere in Latin America. But where it started was Brian Kojak. Brian Kojak had me over to swim in his pool one day. This is long before stages. And we were doing Crossroads in Hollywood. And he asked me, he said, Dave, how brave are you? And this is a very dangerous question. You want to be really careful.
I had the same question posed to me. And
the result
was that I was naked on stage later that week.
Yeah, and that's what happened to me too. So I said, I guess I'm brave enough.
No,
so
no, I take that back. I wasn't completely naked. I still had a flesh-colored dance belt on.
So I did this show in Hollywood as a stripper. It was called Murder at Chippendales, and I was the janitor, Elmo P. Stubbywecker, I believe.
Here's the thing, David. That happened to be the first role that I had at stages when we reprised A Murder at Chippendales.
I know, that's true. So you followed in my G-string steps.
Elmo P. Stubbywecker, who was who had grown up on a fungus ranch somewhere in New Mexico, I believe.
Yeah, well, I just want to dance. I just want to dance.
Just want to dance.
And so he does his little dance, and it was great. And so later on, Brian's aunt Carol was going to have a birthday party, and they were going to have it at stages. And after I think one of the Blood, Sweat, and Beers, he wanted me to come out as a stripper, and I said, well, all right, I'm not going to be Elmo P. Stubbywecker. But so I went to work, and instead of doing insurance, I had my yellow legal pad.
At the time, you were like, what, an actuary at the time?
I was an adjuster,
insurance adjuster. Yeah. Oh, so you're the guy that makes sure that the insurance company makes money.
No, I'm the guy that pays you to fix your car.
Or how about the guy who tries to get me to accept a settlement for less than what I could have gotten if I had gotten a mean lawyer to make noise?
That's never the way I did it.
I don't like to do that.
I understand. That's not the way I did it, though. But okay. So I wrote this whole monologue. I made this whole character of Ricardo. And Ricardo the Magnificent is a Latin heartthrob, insanely aggressive and confident and macho, and not really me. I don't really look all that macho, but he would say things like, women have been known to run a high fever while watching me do my little dance. So I would recommend the ladies to wear a cold compress when you are watching me to keep yourself cool. Now, unfortunately, some men have also been known to be a little hot while watching me do my little dance. So I would say to the men in the audience here tonight, and no looking at my enchilada, okay? It is true, it is firm, it is round, it is tight, but it is a no loading zone. If you know what I'm saying to you.
So I think that is, to me, the way you phrase that exacting way you phrase that line, it's the build, it's the 3 items that you are listing off, and you're clipping the end of each of those items in like a very firm kind of sound, or like a performance, like it feels like you're clicking on each one of those. It is firm, it is round, it is tight. Let's not forget that. And I know you're doing all of that deliberately, and it is goddamn funny.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's all planned out, right? The thing that I enjoy most when I'm doing a show, whether it's film or theater, is when afterwards people start mimicking me or saying things the way I say it. When I can say something in a way that people want to, if
you have won stages when people are doing your dialogue off backstage.
The way I do something, then I've won, and that's what I got with Ricardo, and with other things too. When they repeat me, that's like when I did we did An Addict's Nightmare. I did this thing where I can read, and then everybody was afterwards going, I can read, and I love that stuff.
I do believe you are responsible for introducing me to the phrase "built like a brick shithouse."
What was that? Say again. I missed part.
Built like a brick shithouse.
See, you're using nasty words. I don't use nasty words.
Oh, no, you're.
I'm very innocent. I'm extremely
innocent. You got
innocent.
me there. You did. You got me.
I'm very shy. I don't know those words. I'm very quiet. I'm sweet. So whatever that was that you said.
We have. Let's do a quick time check.
Oops, you made a mistake. Oops, that was nasty. So don't do that. What was that? We do that. You know, I want to tell you, my daughter, Catherine, she's 19 right now. She's great. She just graduated high school. She's in college. She's fantastic. But she likes the new music. And there's a lot of swearing in the new music. And I and whatever, it's fine. But so
yeah, exactly. Whatever, it's fine. It's lazy. It robs the value of a good curse word when you use it over and over again.
So she plays. So she plays it. I let her play her music in the car when we're driving together, and she plays it. And we just have a joke whenever somebody says the F word in a song or some other word. I just always go, "Oops, oops! Oh, he made a mistake. He made a nasty." And she's like laughing and stuff. Like, oh no, he made a mistake.
Yeah.
So we do that. Oops, oops! Oh no. So that's what we do.
I'm seeing it play out in my head, and it's funnier the more I think about it.
Yeah.
Oh my, that's marvelous. That's marvelous, Dave. It's been marvelous chatting with you, dear.
It's been marvelous chatting with you as well. It's been a lot of fun.
You are full of many stories. I am absolutely certain that there are more stories that you have not told me yet, or that I know only my half of the story and need to talk to you about it.
And there are some stories that I will only tell you privately and not over the internet.
Yeah. This here is David Amitin. He's a good friend of mine. He's been known as Ricardo the Magnificent. His name card just came up on the screen because I have it kind of going in the background. I, of course, have been known as your Captain Rathgar. Captain of Mostly Fictional Tales here. I have been asked numerous times why we call it Mostly Fictional Tales. Dave, you've wondered this yourself, right?
I sure have, because there's a lot of truth going on.
All right. Well, here's the thing. When I call it Mostly Fictional Tales, this gives everyone plausible deniability.
That's right. So I can just pretend what I said was wrong.
It's plausible that what was put out on the show is all merely an act. It's all just part of the show.
That's a great idea. That's well done. Good, very good. That's helpful. So Ken, I have to go to a movie. I told my family I would go, but I was good. It was fun. It was great. I hope it works out for you. Anything you need, let me know. Okay.
Well, as you can see, folks, Dave is off to sample some cinema. What are you going to go see, David?
Well, so I want to see some of the Academy Award movies that I have missed so far, like Poor Things. But my daughter wants to see Mean Girls, so I'm going to take her to see Mean Girls. And then
you're making the right choice.
Yeah,
you're making the right choice.
I'll get to the other one eventually.
This has been Mostly Fictional Tales. You all stumbled upon this, hopefully, or I sent you a link and you watched it deliberately, and for that I thank you. I have been your host, Rathgar, also known as Ken. You know what? The only thing I won't answer to is being called late for dinner. And as you can tell, nobody hardly ever does.
Never happens.
I think I'm funny. Oh, you know, if you like what you'd seen here and you want to see me do more of it, you can help out in a couple of simple ways. You need to click like on the video. You need to subscribe to the channel. That's very important. I only have 40 subscribers now, and I need 1,000, my friends. So please click the subscribe button. It will help me out a lot, but if you are a real difference maker, you'll help me keep the lights on over here, and you'll support me over on Patreon. The link is in the description below, and as Captain Rathgar, I find it my duty to remind you all, you be good. But if you cannot be good, don't be caught.
Don't get caught. Okay, cool. Thanks.